these tech devices are so addictive. And now we have very strong data showing the correlation with sleep disruption and increasing risk of cancer, increasing risk of cardiovascular disease. So I just shared this the other day. The World Health Organization, who everybody seems to be looking towards right now. So I like to use people's own data. If you really want to listen to them, listen to this. They tracked about 700 men for 14 years to see what would happen if they were consistently sleep deprived. And they found that when men were not getting sufficient amounts of sleep over this 14-year study period, they had twice as many heart attacks as people who got enough sleep and 4 times as many strokes. All right? There's something absolutely miraculous that sleep does that nothing else can do.
Yep.
You know, and what it is, some of the things is that it's the primary, sleep is the most anabolic state you could be in. Just being awake is catabolic, all right? We can produce and trigger the anabolic secretion of hormones, absolutely. But you get the biggest skeet of HGH when you go to sleep.
Right? Need to start doing this show from bed.
Skeet.
That's
so
incredible.
This is the thing, you know, and so if you're not honoring that and leveraging that, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You're missing out, truly. And so as far as some strategies, tips, what I mentioned about the screen curfew, that's kind of like a pulling off the Band-Aid. That's a little bit difficult. What I did was in my practice, because I saw it was such a big issue with people coming in, they got their nutrition is on point. They're moving, they're doing a lot of stuff right, but the weight isn't coming off like everybody else, or we're not getting their blood sugar normalized, or we can't get them off their lisinopril for their heart disease, whatever it is. And so once I got their sleep dialed in, everything got better. And here's the big takeaway. Knowing all these people I'd worked with at this point, the people want change, but they don't want to change that much, right? So they want change, but they don't want to change that much because they are comfortable with who they are, even if they're not happy with who they are. So I dug into the research to find what are some actionable things people can do to improve their sleep without turning their lives upside down. And so here's a very simple one. Appalachian State University researchers, they did a study to find out what's the best time of day to exercise if you want to improve your sleep quality. And so they had exercisers to train at 3 different times exclusively. At 7 a.m. for one phase, at 1 p.m. for another phase of the study, and 7 p.m. in the evening for another phase. They found that the morning exercisers spent more time in the deepest, most anabolic stages of sleep. They had more efficient sleep cycles. They tended to sleep longer. And this is often overlooked. I don't talk about this much. These folks had a higher decrease in their blood pressure in the evening, which is correlated with an activation of that parasympathetic nervous system and turning off that fight or flight, all from working out in the morning. This doesn't mean that you can't work out another time, but there's something that happens by you getting up and being active in the morning that is just like your genes expect it of you, right? And this is, if you think about evolutionary biology, what will we be doing? When the sun comes up, you get out, you get busy because you're not gonna be fucking around at night because you could die, you know? And so when you do that, you're helping to set your cortisol rhythm, right? So we have and I would see this, we would do certain tests where we could see people's cortisol was elevated in the evening and too high and too low in the morning. We would call them tired and wired because cortisol is kind of this get up and it's not bad. It's when it's produced at the wrong times and wrong amounts, it can be problematic. But you need cortisol skeeting out in the morning. And so exercise helps that rhythm to get going. So you get that cortisol peak and it can gradually decline as the day goes on. So get yourself some morning exercise, even if it's just 5 minutes. You know, you could do a Tabata. You know, it takes 4 minutes, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, do some squats or some push-ups back and forth. You could do some yoga, go for a power walk, just do something active in the morning to help to get that cortisol going. So that's number one. Very practical. You could still have a later day workout. That's okay. But take advantage of that cortisol rhythm reset. So that's number one. Very practical. The folks listening to this probably have some form of exercise program already, but get something in the morning. Number two, this is to be 1,000 with you guys. This is the biggest thing. And it's so overlooked. Like, we're not even at a place where society even remotely understands this. None of the things that I'm saying matters if you don't have the raw materials to make your sleep-related hormones and neurotransmitters. which is made, again, from food. All right? So if we're talking about serotonin, we're talking about protein structure, amino acid structure. Serotonin is a precursor to making melatonin. What melatonin isn't just a sleep hormone. That's a very rudimentary understanding of it. It is a master regulator of your whole circadian clock, your whole circadian timing system of your body. Melatonin is regulating, controlling a lot of your genes. All right. But serotonin is the opening act for it. It's the precursor to make it. And so, but all of the above are made from amino acids, right? So one of them is tryptophan. And we have clinical trials. This is evidence-based. If you are getting adequate amounts of tryptophan, it is going to improve your sleep quality, right? So what I call these are these good sleep nutrients. If you're deficient in any of these things, this can be, you could have the best mattress, you could have your blue light blocking glasses, you can exercise in the morning. If you're deficient in these things, your sleep isn't going to be as good, period. And so what are some of the other ones? So I mentioned tryptophan, but one of the most interesting, and this was published in the Public Library of Science, so PLOS One, vitamin C. Vitamin C is critical for regulating your sleep cycle. So they found that test subjects who were deficient in vitamin C had less efficient sleep cycles, and they tended to have more wake after sleep onset. So they would wake up more frequently during the night. Getting the vitamin C levels up helped to address this. But what the fuck can't vitamin C do, man? It's really amazing. You know, Linus Pauling won a Nobel Prize for his work with vitamin C. It's just like it never happened or something. So now here's the thing. You could take another supplement for it, food first. You know, there are great botanical sources of vitamin C. Obviously, we know the generals, the citrus fruits, but also you got to be mindful of sugar for yourself, kiwis, bell peppers, broccoli. But then there's this category of superfoods, which marketers screw everything up, man. Like everything is not a superfood. But I'm talking about the stuff that has so many benefits, peer-reviewed evidence, that it's just like, this is a game changer. One of those is called camu-camuberry, C-A-M-U-C-A-M-U, camu-camuberry. It's the highest botanical source of vitamin C ever discovered. And man, I mean, I can go on and on with the studies. With one of these crazy studies with camu-camuberry, they gave rats like the worst shit. They just gave rats like high fructose corn syrup and soybean oil. Like that was their diet, like the worst shit ever. And they made it taste good so the rats would eat it. And of course, the rats, they had insulin, they developed insulin resistance, obesity, all this stuff. When they gave them camu-camuberry, it basically halted these negative effects of insulin resistance. It improved their insulin sensitivity, even eating this shitty food. Wow. This is a real peer-reviewed, published study, you know? So yeah, camu-camuberry is one of my favorite things. You can get in like a powder, you know, unless you want to go down to South America and go into the jungle and find some.
So something like this then?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, camu-camuberry. If you can, of course, try and get it organic, you know, reputable sources.
It's cheap too.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this one's a good one, I should say.
Well, I mean, I could tell you the kind that I use, but I don't know for plug-in.
You could tell us
whatever you'd like. Okay, so it's Paleo Valley is the company that I get it from.
There you go.
Paleo Valley, because they don't have any binders, fillers, any of that stuff. It's just a great vitamin. It's called Essential C formula. They do stuff the right way. And I know that they are listening to my show for years because I'll talk about camu-camuberry. Amla berry is the second botanical source, and acerola cherry. Those are my three favorites, and they made a formula with that.
Quick question.
And they didn't pay me.
The tryptophan, did you suggest that people like supplement tryptophan at night or something, or?
Food first.
Food first.
That's pretty easy to get from, people know about like turkey. Yeah. It's like synonymous, but also, chicken. You're going to get some with, there are some plant sources that have notable amounts of tryptophan, but it's mostly going to be in animal foods.
Gotcha. Power Project family, we appreciate you checking out this clip. Check out another one. Just go check out another one. Or comment down below and let us know what you liked about this one. But we love you guys, and we're going to keep bringing you the heat. So comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, okay? Peace.